Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Millie and today we're going to be talking about what to expect when you have a newborn. And having a newborn is just such a neat experience. It's a very stressful experience, especially if you're a new parent. All of a sudden you have this being that you have to take care of and keep alive. It's very stressful, but it's just such a wonderful gift to have. And when you first have your baby, now this is if you don't choose like delayed cord clamping. They will take the cord off and they will be left with a stump. And I'm going to insert a video on how to change a diaper or how to put a diaper on when they have the stump. It's very easy, and of course they do show you in the hospital how to do it, but it's always nice to have a little bit of practice beforehand. So I'm going to insert the video. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to put a diaper on whenever your child still has their umbilical stump. And it's very, very easy. Now this diaper is very big. It's actually one of my daughter's diapers. It's clean, of course. It hasn't been used. But I have her baby doll again. And what you're going to do is here, let me see if I can get this. Okay, so here is the front of your diaper. Now the front will have a little strip where it's for the back to stick on, and then the back of the diaper has these on there. So on the front, you basically will fold back like this, and you will fold you will make the fold as big as you need to, just so the diaper is not rubbing on that stump and irritating it, because you don't want the diaper over the stump or touching the stump, because you don't want that to get irritated, because getting it irritated can lead to infections. And so you're going to there we go. So you're going to lay your baby down, bring it up, okay, and then you're going to fold the top, put it down, and then bring your sides in. So it's very simple. Okay, now that you guys have seen the video, the reason why you want to fold the diaper like that is you don't want stuff rubbing up against it. Those stumps get irritated so easy, and you don't want to run the risk of an infection. If you see a lot of redness, any pus, if they have a fever, you need to let your pediatrician know, because then you need to worry about taking the next step to help with the infection. I know we had to take one of my daughter's appointments. Hers got a little irritated, and it's super easy for them to get irritated. Hers got a little irritated. I can't remember if it got bumped or what exactly happened, but it ended up being okay. But it's always good if you think they might be getting an infection. It's always good to ask. Okay, and then after that, you'll do your skin to skin period. And skin to skin is great if you're trying to breastfeed, and it's also great if you formula feed. It's a good bonding experience with you and your baby. And I'll tell you now, get those cuddles in while you can, because when they get to my daughter's age, they have no time to cuddle with you anymore. So get those sweet baby cuddles in while you can. But skin to skin is just a very, very good thing to do. And then we're going to talk about your baby's first poop. Now your baby's first poop will be called meconium. Now it will look very black and tarry and sticky and nasty. So just be warned, whenever they first do go, it's going to look pretty nasty. But meconium is super, super natural. I mean, it's just something that happens. So don't be scared if that happens. And I think my daughter passed meconium twice. If I remember right, I could be wrong. And with that, we're going to also talk about their reflexes. Now, they have a sucking reflex, which just helps them eat. And then they also have the rooting reflex. And this is whenever you like do this on their cheek and they turn in that direction. That reflex is there to help them find the bottle, for the breast, if you're breastfeeding. And then there's also the Moro reflex. Now, this is kind of one it's nice to be warned about because it happens. If, right after your baby's born, their neck and shoulders are very, very weak. They don't have a lot of muscle in that area. So it does take time for them to build that muscle. So you really have to make an effort to support their head. If for some reason their head falls back or their head is moved abruptly, or even if they're startled, they will have what's called the Moro reflex. And when that happens, they will flail their arms back and their legs also, and then they'll bring them back in. Now they're probably going to cry after this happens because having that happen probably is very startling. So just be warned if that happens. That's what that is. Now, talking about the umbilical cord stump, it should dry up and fall off within 10 to 14 days, somewhere in that period. While they have the stump, you can't submerge the stump in water. So during this time, if your baby needs a bath, you will do a little sponge bath. What I did is I laid my baby on a towel and keep them covered up the best you can, because babies get really cold, really hot, really, really fast. And so you will get 2 bowls of water, which is a head and tail bowl. Put just a little bit of soap in it. And I use these little terry cloths, and you can get them in the baby section. And they're called, they're just little baby washcloths. And you will use those and you'll kind of clean them up and then dry them up. And then once the stump falls off, then you can start giving them a bath. Now, when I gave my baby her first actual bath, I actually sat her in our bathroom sink, and I put a towel in the bottom of the sink just so she wasn't laying in that cold sink, and washed her that way. And while you're in the hospital, they will give you the option of having a nurse bathe them. I do recommend doing this because it gives you a chance to see someone else do it. And someone who does it all the time. It's just nice to have an example of what to do. And then when it comes to feeding, you always want to make sure you burp them in between the feeding and then after. Like halfway through and then after. Babies have a really hard time passing gas, and burping them really helps. And if they're having trouble, passing gas the other end, you can do bicycle kicks, and that does kind of help move things through. And I will also make a video of my newborn favorites, and I'll show you kind of a hack when it comes to burping cloths. I had actually made a newborn video, but right after I made the video, I think it was like a couple days afterwards, and I'm so glad I did not post this video. Literally a couple days afterwards, they had the recall on the Rock and Play. And the Rock and Play was on my list. So I'm going to remake the list and leave that out, because I just don't want to promote something that's been recalled. So I will have that video out to you soon. And then let's talk about the temperature of your house. You do not want your house to be too hot or too cold. There is a monitor online, and I will try to find it, and I'll put the link in the description. But there is a monitor that you can buy for their room, and it will glow certain colors if it's too hot or too cold. And you can actually get them for your bathtub too. I'll try to find both of them, and so that I can link them. But it's just really nice to have, because you just don't, right after you have a baby, you're not a good gauge of temperature. Right after I had my kid, anytime I have like a big hormone change, I'll get like these really bad chills and just episodes of just being extremely cold. Whereas I may be cold, it might be too warm in the room. So it's just nice to have those things. because keeping the room at a good temperature will help prevent SIDS. And then we will talk about swaddling. Now I will insert a video on how to swaddle a baby right now. Okay, so this is how you're going to swaddle your newborn. So here I have one of my daughter's baby dolls, and then I have a blanket. You can get swaddle blankets, or they have sleep sacks. I recommend getting a sleep sack. They're really nice because you don't have to worry about it coming undone and getting into your baby's face, because you don't want to take any chance of your baby suffocating. So I do recommend swaddle sacks, but let me show you how to swaddle. So first you're going to take your blanket and turn it so that it's a diamond. Then you're going to take this, fold it, and then you're going to lay your baby down the back of the shoulders, going to align with the top of that diamond. Okay. And you're going to take your left corner, bring it over your baby, and tuck it under the opposite side of their body. And tuck it, you know, not super tight, but tightly. Okay, and then you're going to take the middle corner, bring it up, and tuck it on that side just as well as you can. And then you're going to take your last corner and just tuck it tightly, and tuck down any loose pieces just the best you can. Okay, now that you've seen the video on how to swaddle a baby, there's different types of swaddles that you can buy. You can buy the kind that I got. They make muslin swaddles, and those would be really good during the summer. And then there's also swaddle sacks. Now I really like the swaddle sacks, and here's the reason being. It's very hard for them to bust out of them, and you do not have to worry about the blanket covering their face, because they have no way of like knocking the blanket out of their face. And that can, you know, become dangerous very quick. I really liked swaddle sacks. I personally don't have mine right now. I had actually lent them to someone. But you can find them at Walmart. You can find them on Amazon. So they're very easily accessible. But I think, and sleeping. I'm going to talk about sleeping. So whenever you first bring your baby home, they'll sleep from about 2 to 4 hour stretches. Every kid's different. My daughter, which just was wonderful, she would actually sleep in 4 hour stretches. Now, I believe, if I remember right, you don't want to let them sleep more than 4 hours. They need to eat, you know, at a certain time frame. And each doctor has their own opinion about this. Some may say 3, some may say 4. Just ask. And once they get to, I believe it's a little bit over their birth weight, you can start letting them sleep in longer stretches at night. I would just ask. Again, every doctor has their own preference. But something that I did with my baby, because newborns don't have a concept of night and day. And just to kind of help them develop, you know, some understanding that you sleep longer at night and you stay awake more during the day, I would keep all the lights on during the day, and then at a certain time, you know, at night, I would just shut off all lights except for like maybe a lamp and the TV. It's just a nice way for them to kind of learn that rhythm. And so I just kind of want to talk about, you know, becoming a new parent. And I am going to make a video on what, you know, and kind of how to adjust to becoming a new parent, and also kind of how it affects your relationship, because it does affect your relationship a lot, and it's just kind of nice to know what to expect. So I'm gonna make a video about that and kind of explain it for you guys. But this is my list of what to expect with a newborn, and if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will have some new videos out for you soon.